In the midst of a wild sequence of events, a heated altercation recently erupted in a federal detention center involving three prominent figures: Big U, Loose Cannon, and Brick Baby. The tension between them had been simmering for some time, but this confrontation reached a boiling point, drawing intense attention from both inmates and the public. Big U, a major figure in Los Angeles, is no stranger to controversy, particularly with his connections to Nipsey Hussle's tragic death. The altercation quickly became more than just an isolated incident, as it is believed to have been linked to deeper, long-standing gang rivalries, sparking a series of confrontations both inside and outside of the prison system. At the heart of the story is Big U, a former leader of the Rolling 60s Crips who once mentored Nipsey Hussle. His high-profile connections and deep involvement in the LA gang scene have made him a target for both legal and street repercussions. In March 2025, Big U found himself facing federal charges, including murder, racketeering, and fraud, all stemming from his alleged involvement in a criminal enterprise run through his charity, Developing Options. Alongside him in the legal battles are Loose Cannon, a former producer and rapper who worked closely with Nipsey, and Brick Baby, a rapper with ties to the Rolling 60s. The fight in the jail yard wasn't just some petty dispute between these three men. Rather, it was a high-stakes brawl that saw Big U, Loose Cannon, and Brick Baby teaming up against another group of inmates, believed to be from a rival gang, possibly Bloods. Despite their own internal differences, these three put aside their personal beefs and stood united against a common enemy. This unusual alliance in the face of adversity reflected the harsh realities of prison politics, where gang ties and survival often take precedence over personal grievances. For Loose Cannon and Big U, their relationship had been far from smooth. In a bombshell interview on the No Jumper podcast in early 2024, Loose Cannon accused Big U of knowing about Nipsey Hussle's murder before it happened, alleging that Big U had called him to say that Nipsey had been killed before confirming the tragic news to the public. This revelation sent shockwaves through the hip-hop community and further deepened the divide between the two men. Loose Cannon even suggested that had Big U been more transparent, Nipsey's death might have been prevented. However, Big U firmly denied these accusations, sending a cease and desist letter to No Jumper, which only added fuel to the fire. Despite the explosive allegations and the complicated history between the men, when the fight broke out in the yard, they stood side by side. The altercation quickly escalated into a full-blown brawl, which resulted in a complete lockdown of the facility. The situation was further complicated by the fact that both Loose Cannon and Brick Baby had upcoming bail hearings. Getting involved in such a violent altercation just before their hearings raised red flags, potentially damaging their chances of securing release. In addition to the yard fight, there were reports of tension between Loose Cannon and Brick Baby themselves. The two were involved in a separate confrontation within their cell, but they managed to resolve their differences quickly, further highlighting the volatile and unpredictable nature of life in federal custody. This entire situation serves as a stark reminder of the intricate dynamics at play behind bars, especially when it comes to high-profile gang affiliations. For Big U, Loose Cannon, and Brick Baby, their loyalty to their respective gangs took precedence, even if it meant setting aside personal grievances. The rivalry between the Crips and Bloods runs deep, and in a prison setting, the code of loyalty and protection within these groups is paramount. Even in the most chaotic circumstances, survival is often contingent on these alliances, and the jail yard showdown between these prominent figures is a testament to the violent realities of life in the system. The recent altercation in the federal detention facility involving Big U, Loose Cannon, and Brick Baby isn't just another prison brawl. It's a reflection of the entrenched gang rivalries that have plagued Los Angeles for decades. These men, all tied to the Rolling 60s Crips, have personal histories and grievances that run deep, especially between Loose Cannon and Big U, fueled by the tragic murder of Nipsey Hussle in 2019. What makes this incident so intriguing isn't just the brawl itself, but the fact that, despite their well-documented animosities, these individuals united against a common enemy, members of a rival gang, likely the Bloods. This act of solidarity in the face of a shared threat speaks volumes about the complex codes and allegiances that dictate behavior in prison. The fierce loyalty that binds gang members, regardless of personal beefs, shows how survival often outweighs individual disputes behind bars. The deep-rooted rivalry between the Crips and Bloods has been a part of Los Angeles street culture for years, often spilling over into violent confrontations like the one seen in the prison yard. But this isn't just a story of gang warfare. It's about unresolved issues that go far beyond the prison walls. Loose Cannon's explosive claims about Big U's potential involvement in Nipsey's death have only added fuel to the fire. According to Cannon, Big U called him moments before Nipsey's death to say that Nipsey had been killed, well before the news broke. While Cannon initially didn't think much of it, he later realized the chilling implications of that phone call. He even suggested that had he known the significance of the conversation, he could have warned Nipsey and perhaps stopped the tragedy. Loose Cannon's allegations, which point to a possible premeditated element behind Nipsey's death, have only deepened the divide between him and Big U, with the latter vehemently denying any wrongdoing. Big U's version of events surrounding Nipsey's death contradicts the widely accepted narrative. He argues that Eric Holder, the man convicted of Nipsey's murder, didn't leave and change clothes before returning to shoot Nipsey. Instead, Big U claims Holder remained in the area, acting erratically, even eating at a nearby restaurant, which he believes casts doubt on the idea that the murder was carefully planned. This alternative explanation raises important questions about the nature of the crime, casting the possibility that it was a spur-of-the-moment act, rather than a cold-blooded assassination. However, Loose Cannon's accusations aren't the only ones that have surfaced. Other figures, including the former death row artist SKG, have also suggested that Big U played a role in Nipsey's murder, though these allegations are largely based on hearsay and unverified claims. In an interview after Big U's arrest on RICO charges, SKG voiced her belief that Big U's jealousy toward Nipsey played a part in the killing, further complicating the narrative surrounding Nipsey's death. Yet, despite these serious accusations, there is no concrete evidence linking Big U to the murder. Eric Holder, not Big U, remains the convicted killer. This tangled web of accusations and alliances illustrates the complex dynamics of gang culture and the harsh realities of life in prison. For Big U, Loose Cannon, and Brick Baby, the jail fight has added a new layer to their already troubled lives. It could further jeopardize their legal battles, with potential consequences for their bail hearings and upcoming court dates. At the same time, the fight reinforces the idea that behind bars, it's not just about personal vendettas, but the need to align with your gang for survival. In a place where alliances shift as quickly as the tides, this fight underscores the brutal nature of life within the prison system. Even when personal histories are fraught with tension, gang loyalty often prevails. But in this case, the question remains, will these men ever be able to put their differences aside for good? Or is this conflict just another chapter in a much larger, ongoing saga? Time will tell, but one thing is clear. This story is far from over. Big U's relationship with Nipsey Hussle was anything but simple. While some might suggest a history of tension, Big U has always emphasized the depth of their professional connection, claiming they stayed in touch up until Nipsey signed with Atlantic Records. He pointed to his appearance in Nipsey's Ain't No Rappin' music video, and his promotion of Victory Lap on social media as proof that their relationship was far from strained. Big U pushed back strongly against conspiracy theories, especially those surrounding Nipsey's murder, saying, "How can it be a conspiracy when you have the man in jail?" The bond between Big U and Nipsey was multifaceted. On the professional side, Big U played a pivotal role in Nipsey's rise, signing him to Unique Music and co-managing him alongside Steve LaBelle. Big U's industry ties helped push Nipsey's All Money and brand beyond its local roots, earning global recognition. When Nipsey secured his deal with Atlantic Records for Victory Lap, he called on Big U for guidance, signaling trust and respect. However, their relationship wasn't without its rough patches. In 2011, a confrontation near Crenshaw and Slauson erupted between Big U and Nipsey, allegedly over concerns about Nipsey's daughter's living situation. The altercation, which escalated when Nipsey's brother Black Sam fired a warning shot, led to LAPD involvement and the detention of Big U, Nipsey, Black Sam, and others. The incident was eventually chalked up to personal disputes rather than issues over music or money. with Big U later explaining that it was tied to gang politics. Despite the intensity of that altercation, Big U and Nipsey appeared to reconcile by late 2016. Big U even took on the role of road manager during Nipsey's Victory Lap promotional tour, signaling that their partnership remained intact. Yet, some industry insiders questioned the nature of Nipsey's contract with Unique Music. Reports suggested a 10-year agreement with a 50-50 split between Big U and Steve Lobel. Critics raised concerns about potential conflicts of interest, given that Big U both managed Nipsey and controlled the label. Still, no clear evidence emerged that Nipsey harbored ill feelings about the deal, and their continued collaboration suggests the arrangement worked for them. The story of Big U and Nipsey's partnership, and the truth behind Nipsey's tragic death remains shrouded in complexity. While Eric Holder has been convicted of the murder, persistent rumors, including those from figures like Loose Cannon and SKG, have cast a long shadow over Big U's reputation. These allegations, though unproven, continue to stir speculation, adding to the web of intrigue surrounding the case. The recent prison altercation between Big U, Loose Cannon, Brick Baby, and rival gang members has sent shockwaves through both the hip-hop community and the broader public. It's not just about what happened on that yard. The fight touches on deeper issues: gang dynamics, the legacy of Nipsey Hussle, and the legal challenges facing these men. This incident highlights the enduring influence of gang affiliations, even among industry insiders. Despite the serious accusations aimed at Big U, when faced with rival gang members, these men, all from the Rollin' 60s Crips, stood united. This showcases the strength of gang loyalty, which can sometimes override even the most bitter personal conflicts. The Rollin' 60s Crips, a powerful faction within South LA's gang landscape, have a long history rooted in territorial disputes and rivalries, especially with the Bloods. Established in 1976, the gang's influence and size have grown significantly over the decades, with an estimated 1,600 members by 2004. Both Nipsey Hussle and Eric Holder were members of this gang, as were Big U, Loose Cannon, and Brick Baby. The altercation in prison is significant because it involved members of the Crips facing off with Bloods, perpetuating a rivalry that's been one of the most violent and long-standing in American gang history. These conflicts, born of territorial protection, gang pride, and disputes over illicit enterprises, have led to countless casualties over the years, with the broader gang war contributing to an estimated 20,000 deaths by 2014. Inside prison walls, such rivalries often escalate as inmates rely on their gang affiliations for protection. The fact that the conflict continued even after the men were placed in solitary confinement speaks to the depth of the animosity between them. For Loose Cannon and Brick Baby, this altercation couldn't have come at a worse time. With both men reportedly up for bail hearings shortly after the incident, their involvement in prison violence may harm their chances of pretrial release. Jail fights are often used as evidence of an individual's dangerousness, which can influence a judge's decision. As for Big U, who already faces severe charges like murder and racketeering, the fight could add to his already considerable legal troubles. The incident may also prompt additional disciplinary actions within the facility, potentially affecting his sentencing down the line. This altercation raises questions about the security protocols within federal detention facilities. The fact that the fight persisted despite the men being placed in solitary confinement suggests that there may be gaps in the system's ability to manage high-profile inmates with known gang affiliations. The ongoing narrative around Big U and his possible role in Nipsey's death remains a source of intrigue and speculation. While Eric Holder is the convicted murderer, allegations from figures like Loose Cannon and SKG continue to cloud Big U's name. In a video following his arrest in March 2025, Big U pointed to these online rumors as contributing to his legal woes, specifically mentioning figures like Loose Cannon and Whack 100, accusing them of playing a part in stirring up attention from law enforcement. The ongoing tension between Big U and Whack 100, particularly regarding the federal RICO case against Big U, has escalated dramatically. Big U has accused Whack 100 of assisting the feds, even suggesting that Whack was involved in the raids on his properties. Whack 100, however, vehemently denied these allegations, asserting that he had no role in the legal proceedings against Big U. The feud between them has only added another layer to the complex web of accusations and counter-accusations surrounding Big U. This ongoing saga, whether involving the fate of Big U's legal battles, his relationship with Nipsey, or the broader gang dynamics, serves as a stark reminder of how deeply intertwined street culture, the music industry, and the legal system can become. The feud between Wack 100 and Big U is not a new development. It has deep roots that stretch back to the aftermath of Nipsey Hussle's tragic death in 2019. Wack made headlines by praising Eric Holder, the man convicted of killing Nipsey, and suggesting that his actions were justified under gang rules, sparking outrage. Big U, who had a close connection with Nipsey, didn't take kindly to these comments and reportedly confronted Wack, putting their already strained relationship into even sharper focus. By 2022, the rift had only deepened. In an attempt to mend fences, Wack expressed regret over their falling out, saying in an interview that, of all the conflicts he had seen unfold, the one with Big U was the one he wished could have been different. "I love his family, and no matter what's been said between us, I know them," Wack remarked, reflecting on the personal aspect of their relationship. But Big U wasn't having it. He took to Instagram to make it clear, "I don't accept any apology from anyone who disrespects my name or my family." The tension between the two highlighted a larger issue within the industry and Los Angeles' gang culture, where professional rivalries often collide with personal loyalty. This ongoing conflict between two high-profile figures offers insight into the broader complexities of the hip-hop world and its intersection with gang culture in Los Angeles. It's a reminder that the music industry, despite its glamorous exterior, is often riddled with personal rivalries and unresolved tensions that extend well beyond the boardroom. And in this case, the ripple effects extend to Nipsey Hussle's legacy, an individual who worked tirelessly to uplift his community and reduce gang violence, making the ongoing tension surrounding his death even more poignant. Nipsey's life and work were deeply rooted in the concept of economic empowerment for marginalized communities. His business ventures, from the Marathon clothing store to his Vector 90 STEM Center, were designed to provide jobs and educational opportunities to those who were often overlooked by society. His vision was one of reinvestment in South LA, a region often defined by poverty and gentrification, but Nipsey sought to change that narrative. His passing hasn't stopped his family from carrying on his work. Through the Neighborhood NIP Foundation and the Marathon Collective, they continue to advocate for the community, staying true to Nipsey's ideals even as the controversy around his death persists. But amid all this, there's also the reality of gang politics. The recent prison altercation involving Big U, Loose Cannon, Brick Baby, and their rivals underscores just how intertwined gang loyalties are with the lives of these men, even as they navigate the music business and face legal battles. This conflict isn't just about personal animosity. It's also about the ongoing influence of gangs on these individuals, many of whom are still very much connected to that world, even if they've achieved fame and fortune. Looking ahead, there are several crucial questions yet to be answered. How will the jail fight impact the bail hearings for Brick Baby and Loose Cannon? With both men reportedly scheduled for hearings soon after the altercation, their involvement in a gang-related incident could potentially jeopardize their chances for release. Judges often factor in an inmate's behavior while in custody, and the ongoing violence may be seen as proof of their continued threat to the community. For Big U, the implications are even more significant. Already facing serious charges, including racketeering and murder, the prison altercation could further complicate his RICO case. If prosecutors can link his actions inside the prison to ongoing gang activity, it could reinforce their argument that he continues to be a dangerous figure. The mystery surrounding Nipsey's death also lingers. While Eric Holder is behind bars, the rumors and allegations surrounding Big U's involvement, particularly from figures like Loose Cannon and SKG, continue to cloud the case. The legal process is far from over, and as the RICO case progresses, new information may surface, either to corroborate or dispel these accusations. One thing is certain: Wack 100's role in all of this is only getting more complicated. His feud with Big U, coupled with his connections to Loose Cannon, places him squarely in the middle of this narrative, and his influence on these cases is unlikely to fade anytime soon. What makes this entire saga so fascinating is how it reveals the intersection between gang culture and the modern hip-hop industry. These are not just anonymous street figures. Many of those involved have recording contracts, podcast platforms, and large social media followings. The blending of street credibility with entertainment industry success creates a complex environment, where business interests, gang affiliations, and personal vendettas collide. As this story continues to unfold, it's likely to provide further insights into the tangled web of relationships, loyalties, and conflicts that define both the world of hip-hop and gang life. Ultimately, the legal outcomes for Big U, Loose Cannon, and Brick Baby will have far-reaching consequences, not just for their personal futures, but for the broader conversation around Nipsey Hussle's legacy. Their involvement in gang violence, whether in the streets or behind bars, continues to shape the way people view their actions and motivations, and it underscores the need for ongoing efforts to address gang violence in Los Angeles. These cases will undoubtedly impact how the public sees the intersection of music, street life, and the legal system in a city where both coexist in a delicate, often volatile balance.